back at the 12-yard line. Ernest Jones, backup linebacker, takes down Vick.
In the first quarter of this game, he's been an absolute ball hog in this thing early.
Oh, I wouldn't say all that. That's crazy.
Django, 7-yard gain, and it's good for first down. Military, Nate Berman and James Buckle find the quarterback. I think that's the way it ought to be. Bobby Roll tries to get himself back as they're facing third down again.
I don't know. We're fired up. We definitely pumped up.
What's going on, Ravens flock? Welcome back to Django Sports Network. The Baltimore Ravens are now 2-0 in the preseason after going into Minnesota and beating the Vikings 13-3. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if you were looking for some kind of 35-31 shootout, this was not the game for you. But if you like defense, if you like sacks, if you like young players fighting for roster spots, then there's actually a lot to like about this one because Baltimore's defense basically told Minnesota, touchdowns? Nah, I won't do those around here. The Vikings didn't score a single touchdown, and through 2 preseason games, Baltimore has now allowed just 10 total points. So let's talk about exactly what stood out during this game. My boy Mike Green gets home. First off, I got to say, start with a guy as a Ravens fan making some noise out there. Mike Green. Who? Mike Green. Green gets his first sack of the preseason, taking down J.J. McCarthy. And this is exactly what I wanted to see. We've heard about the athleticism. We know about the pass rushing ability. But eventually, I need to see you get some quarterback sacks, man. And Mike Green said, you know what? Say less. He gets McCarthy on the ground and pits his first preseason sack on the board. That's important because Baltimore needs a guy who can consistently create pressure off the edge. You don't want to have to manufacture pressure every single play. You know, sometimes you need somebody who can just line up and say, me versus you, bro. I'm getting to the quarterback through you or around you. And Mike Green gave us a glimpse of that. Now, I'm not about to crown anybody just based on one preseason sack, but that's the kind of play you want to see from a young pass rush. Now, get off the ball, get into the backfield, and most importantly, make sure you finish. Odafe, nah, he ain't do all of that, but the crazy part is Mike Green wasn't alone here. Baltimore finished the game with 5 total sacks. The defensive front was getting after Minnesota all afternoon. Next up, we got my boy Joe Fagnano. He keeps on making his case to be in the game. Now, let's get off to the offense because, man, we got to talk about my man. Like I said, Joe Fagnano. After what he showed us against Philadelphia, I wanted to know, can this brother do it again? And, of course, the answer is always yes. Mr. Fagnano comes into the game and goes 15 for 20, 123 yards, 1 touchdown, and this time 0 interceptions. He didn't throw for 350 or anything flashy. He didn't throw 4 touchdowns, but you know what? He successfully ran the offense. Knock on wood, if Lamar goes down, if Snoop gets traded or gets gone, we got somebody that can be reliable and hold the defense down. Don't turn the football over. Move the chains. And when you get your opportunity in the end zone, make sure you always cash in. And through 2 preseason games, Fagnano is starting to become one of the more interesting stories on this Ravens roster because every time they get his man an opportunity, he looks comfortable. And for an undrafted rookie quarterback, come on, bro, that's too impressive. Next up, we got my man, LeJohntay Wester, making Coach Prime proud. And Fagnano's touchdown went to somebody I really wanted to talk about. My man, you have not been forgotten, LeJohntay Wester. Third quarter, Baltimore needs a touchdown. Fagnano finds Wester for an 8-yard score. He was wide open, but, I mean, a touchdown's a touchdown. Touchdown Ravens. And somewhere right now, Coach Prime got to be smiling, maybe hitting the 1-foot Dion. He got a couple toes missing. He definitely hitting the 1-footer. Now, if you guys remember, of course, he played with Dion in Colorado. So you know Coach Prime watching this guy get into that NFL end zone has got to be proud. And Wester didn't just make that one play either. He finished with 5 catches for 24 yards and that 1 touchdown. And I've been watching Wester because he gives Baltimore something interesting. He's quick. He can catch underneath. He can contribute in the return game. And when you're fighting for one of those final roster spots, versatility is everything. So I think it's safe to say, LeJohntay, you got a spot on this Baltimore Ravens roster. You can play receiver Okay, you can return punts, special teams. All right. Now, can you create something after the catch? Can we pitch you in the field in the different situations? And Wester is giving the Ravens reason to keep looking at him. The touchdown made it 10-3 Baltimore, and from that point on, the defense basically put Minnesota in jail. Next up, we got my man Tyler Loop. Now we got to talk about something. I rarely give this guy like any heat after that Eagles game. I know Tyler Loop was sort of Now after the Ravens fans gave this guy a hard time, he did contribute. He did make a few field goals. So what does this guy do next week? He comes out and says, "You know what? I got y'all. First field goal, 49 yards, good. Later in the fourth quarter, 20 yards, good. Extra point after Wester's touchdown. Good. That's all I wanted to see. A kicker misses one. Fine. What happens next? Because kicking in the NFL is mental. If you miss one and then suddenly think about it every time you line up, Houston, we got a problem. But Luke bounced right back, 2 for 2 on field goals, perfect on the extra point, and that 49 wasn't a little cheap chip shot either. So Tyler Luke, you are officially out of timeout. Welcome back to the Ravens squad. You still gonna probably, be judged in crunch time, but hey, don't make me pick you back in timeout, bro. Keep it up the good work. Let's keep this rolling to next week, Tyler Loop. Now let's get back to the defense because Minnesota still had a chance late to make things interesting. And then Silas Walters said, "We're done here." Fourth quarter, the minority in the secondary. The Vikings trying to get something going. This man Ghost comes out of nowhere with the interception. Game over. That's the kind of play that coaches love in preseason because remember, these games aren't really about the final score. They're kind of like evaluations. And this is my first time even seeing or hearing about this guy. So that was my evaluation of you. I don't know if you're making the final roster or not. I know some guys are fighting for that practice squad spot. Some guys are fighting just to have good film out there so the other 31 teams can see that. Now, when you finally get an opportunity late in the game to make a play, make it. So that's exactly what Silas Walters did. And Baltimore's defense forced turnovers, got after the quarterback, and didn't allow a single touchdown. You can't ask for much more than that. Now, once again, the defense is a major, major story in this. And really, that's my biggest takeaway from the game. The Ravens' offense was okay, nothing spectacular, but Baltimore only finished with 242 yards compared to the first game. But there are absolutely a lot of things on offense to clean up. But man, this defense, bruh, this defense has been nasty through the first two preseason games. Philly scored 7. Minnesota scored 3. That's just 10 points allowed in 2 games. All I'm going to say is, Django, it's preseason. Yeah, I know. I'm not booking Super Bowl tickets just yet because the third string defense is cooking in August. Now, here's what actually matters. The main thing I'm looking to this whole preseason thing right now is depth. When injuries happen during the season, knock on wood once again, and will when they happen, who can step in and make a play? Who can give you the snaps? Who can rush the passer? Who can cover? Who can make that tackle on third down? This is what preseason tells us a little bit about. And right now, I'm seeing a lot of Ravens defense with some young guys who are very hungry right now. Once again, we got Mike Green getting the sack, Silas Walters getting the interception, Ethan Burke forcing a fumble that Amani Orioe, my bad, brother, if I messed the name up, he recovered a fumble. Different guys making different plays. That's encouraging. So, what about this offense? Offensively, I still want a little more. My boy Fagnano played well. Wester made his touchdown catch. We got Josh Jose Cuervo's out there, had 3 catches for 46 yards. And he's showing the Ravens right now what a good tight end can be out there. But the running game, bro, the running game has not been there. And overall, this wasn't exactly an offensive masterpiece. Baltimore had 11 first downs and went 5 for 15 on third down. That's got to improve. But here's the difference. Baltimore didn't beat themselves. No interceptions, no lost fumbles. And when your defense is playing like that, something always is letting you know, protect the football. We can get the dub. Take the points away from here and let the defense eat. My final thoughts from this whole Baltimore Ravens versus Minnesota Vikings game. So Baltimore walks out with a victory, 13-3. They're now 2-0 in the preseason, and my biggest winner so far, once again, has been Joe Fagnano. He continues to impress. LaJohntay Wester finally getting the football, getting into the end zone, making Coach Prime proud. Mike Green, who? Mike Green finally getting that preseason sack. Silas Walters coming out of nowhere, putting the final touches on that interception with the win. And Tyler Loop, my man, way to get out of timeout. Perfect day for Tyler Loop, 49-yard field goal, 20-yard field goal, extra point. We'll take it. But more than anything, this Ravens defense continues to show that there might be some serious depth on this roster. Now, the Ravens have one more preseason game left against who? The Washington Commanders. And that's where some of these roster battles are going to really be decided. So I want to hear from y'all. Who's impressed you the most? Was it Joe Fagnano, Mike Green, LaJohntay Wester, or somebody I didn't even mention? I don't know. I know Jacoby Lane didn't do much, so didn't want to speak too much about that, But has Joe Fagnano done enough to make the Ravens roster? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow Django Sports Network because we're covering the Ravens all season long, preseason, regular season, highlights, reactions, everything in between. Once again, I'm Django, and I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Ravens.